Flames of unity light up as the first-ever cross-boundary torch relay takes place in 4 host cities of the National Games. Torchbearers share with us their cherished experience passing on the flames. And a fact sheet revealed by Washington lays out details of the trade truce deal reached last week between the United States and China. Good evening. You're watching Cable News. I'm Jeremy Zhu. In a historic first for the National Games, a cross-boundary torch relay simultaneously lit up the streets of Hong Kong, Shenzhen, Guangzhou, and Macau this morning, uniting the entire Greater Bay Area 1 week before the 15th edition of the sporting spectacle officially begins. Quentin Yang shares more.
The Hong Kong leg of the ceremony kicked off at 9:30 a.m. to cheers from passionate residents who turned out in droves. The relay started at the government headquarters in Tamar, with the city's top male table tennis player Wang Chunting as the first torchbearer. Dozens of primary school students, securing a prime spot early, screamed their enthusiastic support. The route creatively wove through the city's iconic skyline, passing landmarks like the Golden Bohemia Square and Victoria Harbour via the Star Ferry, where crowds gathered to witness the memorable event. This tourist from Guangzhou expressed his thrill at the relay, noting his hometown was hosting its own at the very same time. The final leg culminated with gold medal fencer Kailin Se lighting the cauldron at Kai Tak Sports Park, concluding the city's 2-hour, 10-kilometer journey. Meanwhile, the other 3 host cities staged their own distinctive relays. Shenzhen's ceremony launched at 9 a.m. in Lianhuashan Park. A humanoid torchbearer was the spotlight. The route also featured a section of low-altitude flight to embody the city's innovative spirit. In Guangzhou, the relay connected ancient landmarks like the Zhenhai Tower with modern icons in Zhujiang New Town. A segment featuring a self-driving car fleet underscored the city's technological prowess. Finally, Macau's 2.6-kilometer relay traversed the peninsula from the SAR government headquarters to conclude at the landmark ruins of St. Paul's, beautifully showcasing its rich cultural fusion. Quentin Yang, Cable News.
Amid cheers and soaring spirits, Hong Kong's 50 torchbearers gathered at Kai Tak Sports Park after successfully completing the city's leg of the 15th National Games torch relay, describing the experience as a profound honor and a lifelong memory. Quentin Yang has spoken with some of them.
The atmosphere was electric as torchbearers raised their flames, together with Acting Chief Executive Eric Chen, Sports Chief Rosanna Law, and other senior officials for a group photograph. Addressing the ceremony, Chen said the smooth relay represents the city's full engagement in the Games. For the torchbearers, carrying the flame held deep personal significance.
For me, I feel very happy and excited, and the first one is, for me, is so special.
As the city's top male table tennis player, Wang also stressed that passing the torch is like passing a baton across sectors and generations. Fencer Kailin said the final bearer shared her emotional connection to the flame.
Yeah, it means a lot to me because this is a once-in-a-lifetime experience that I'll remember for the rest of my life. And I really hope all the athletes and just people watching sports or people who love sports, they could enjoy this process and watch us chase that dream, chase that goal.
4-time Olympian swimmer Stephanie L also expressed excitement.
It was really an honor for me because the National Games is hosting in Hong Kong. We're part of the National Games, so first time being a torchbearer in Hong Kong really means a lot, especially I can do it here.
Meanwhile, local-born Bangladeshi entrepreneur Lamia Sreya Rahman said she was flattered to represent the city.
I feel very honored to be a part of the National Games as a torchbearer because I'm representing the startup community, the youth, the ethnically diverse people. I really hope that the Hong Kong athletes can win the gold and bring back the prize to Hong Kong. So, 加油你哋!
With the torch relay officially finished here in Hong Kong and the flames united with others from Shenzhen and Macau in Guangzhou, the city stands ready to showcase its strength at the upcoming National Games. Kun Qingyang, Cable News.
In other news, a scaffolder has died after falling from height at a construction site in Sao Mau Ping. The deceased was covered by a tent as police conducted their investigation. The incident happened at around 3 p.m. at a subdivided public housing project site on On Hay Street. The worker was dismantling scaffolding when he fell from a height equivalent to about 9 stories, landing on a platform below. Emergency crews responded immediately, but he was pronounced dead at the scene. The case has been classified as an industrial incident and is being investigated by the Labor Department. Hong Kong and Saudi Arabia inked multiple agreements covering cutting-edge technologies last week, Financial Secretary Paul Chen revealed, who also sounded an optimistic note about hitting this year's economic growth target. Evelyn Bai reports.
The finance chief led a delegation of about 40 representatives to Riyadh for the Future Investment Initiative, during which delegation members signed multiple agreements and memoranda of understanding with Saudi Arabian partners across various aspects, including artificial intelligence, smart sensing technologies, robotics, and environmental technology. Writing on his weekly blog, Chen said the bilateral exchanges signaled massive opportunities for collaboration in 3 areas, namely financial cooperation, INT collaboration, and joint ventures into the global market. In terms of finance, he highlighted that the city has the world's largest initial public offerings market and Asia's largest green financial market, which can provide financing models for the large-scale infrastructure projects in Saudi Arabia. In the INT sector, industries like AI, healthcare, and fintech are of particular interest to Saudi Arabia, aligning with Hong Kong's development, Chen added. He said the delegation enhanced the synergy between local and mainland enterprises in joint ventures to explore the global market. Some tech startups from the mainland have signed MOUs, opening up new markets. The minister concluded that the city is on track to meet the full-year economic growth target, thanks to the 3.8% growth in the third quarter, resilient exports, recovering local consumption, and double-digit growth in visitor arrivals. Evelyn Bai, Cable News.
As part of a de-escalation of the U.S.-China trade war, the United States moved to slash tariffs on Chinese fentanyl imports in half to 10%, while China will pause its export restrictions on rare earth minerals and magnets. Evelyn Bai reports.
Following a bilateral meeting between President Xi Jinping and U.S. President Donald Trump last week in South Korea, the White House released a fact sheet detailing the trade deal, announcing that Washington will cut the fentanyl-related tariffs from 20% to 10%, effective next Monday. China has agreed to take measures to curb the influx of fentanyl into the U.S., including a ban on designated chemical exports to North America and stringent controls on the global export of certain chemicals. Beijing will also suspend all retaliatory tariffs from March 4th, including tariffs on American chicken, cotton, and soybean products. The White House added that Beijing plans to purchase at least 12 million metric tons of U.S. soybeans by the end of the year, with an annual target of 25 million tons over the next 3 years, and will also restore orders of sorghum and hardwood from the U.S. On the rare earth issue, China will pause its export controls for 1 year, issuing general licenses for critical minerals like gallium, germanium, and graphite to U.S. firms and their suppliers. Furthermore, China will terminate investigations into U.S. semiconductor companies, allowing Xperia's facilities in China to resume chip exports. Meanwhile, Washington will delay the expiration of certain Section 301 tariff exclusions, which target Chinese maritime, logistics, and shipbuilding sectors, postponing port fees. After the fact sheet announcement, Trump held a meeting with Xi in his social media post, saying the meeting would lead to everlasting peace and success between the world's two largest economies. Evelyn Bai, Cable News.
In a light-hearted moment at the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in Gwangju, President Xi Jinping presented South Korean President Lee Jae-myung with a pair of Xiaomi smartphones and jokingly urged Lee to check whether there is a back door.
As the two leaders approached the smartphones presented in black boxes, a Chinese official pointed out that the devices' displays were made in South Korea. Lee lifted one of the boxes and asked, "How is the communication security?" Xi then responded, "You can check if there's a back door," alluding to a hidden method of bypassing a device's normal security mentioned by chip giant NVIDIA about its H20 chips after Beijing raised security concerns. Both leaders shared a laugh, with President Lee clapping his hands as they continued with the gift exchange. Xi's formal gift to his South Korean counterpart was a set of the four treasures of the study, comprising a brush, ink, paper, and inkstone. In return, Lee presented a finest quality wooden board for the ancient strategy game Go, accompanied by a mother-of-pearl inlay lacquered tray. The South Korean presidential office explained that the choice of a Go board was deliberate, as both leaders are known to be enthusiasts of the game. The gift also echoes a set of Go pieces gifted to Xi 11 years ago when he visited the country.
In England, at least 11 people were injured in a stabbing spree aboard a London-bound train. 2 remain in a life-threatening condition, while 4 have since been discharged. 2 suspects have been arrested on suspicion of attempted murder. Counter-terror police have once taken over the case, but later ruled out a terrorist incident. The train involved was subsequently stopped at Huntingdon Station in Cambridgeshire, where the scene was cordoned off by a large number of police officers. Police were called at around 7 p.m. on Saturday, London time, to reports of multiple people stabbed on a service from Doncaster to London. Witnesses described a man with a knife confronting officers on the platform before being subdued by a police taser. Meanwhile, passengers took refuge in the train's toilets. One passenger described the chaotic scene.
One of the people that were coming through had my headphones on, then heard them say, they've got a knife, I've been stabbed. And then when looking up, so they were making their way through the carriage to get away from the incident, from the suspects. They were extremely bloodied.
The arrestees are a 32-year-old black British man and a 35-year-old British man of Caribbean descent. The authorities have declared there is nothing to suggest the incident is related to terrorism and have asked the public to provide any more information.
Visitors to northeast Japan seeking fiery maple leaves are reminded to be cautious of bears, as multilingual warning signs have been installed at Naruko Gorge following several fatal bear attacks nationwide this year. Evelyn Bai has more details.
Miyagi Prefecture's Osake City is one of the best locations to view the color-changing leaves, luring tourists from around the world. This year, additional signs in English, Chinese, and Korean have been put up at the entrance of walkway at the gorge to alert people for bears. Osake has experienced a series of bear appearances, prompting the city to issue an emergency declaration last Tuesday. Meanwhile, the sale of bear bells at the renowned autumn foliage spot has risen to approximately 20, compared to only a few last year.
I want to be careful, of course, with a bear because there's a lot of signages around.
The Miyagi prefectural government has also published information on its website, advising people to watch out for claw marks on trees, bear feeding signs made of broken branches, or bear footprints and droppings on the ground, and leave the area immediately if they saw these signs. It is also recommended that hikers travel in groups, carry bear bells, and make noise to deter bears. After hiking or camping, it is important to take all trash with them. Evelyn Bai, Cable News.
On to the weather now. Mainly cloudy with 1 or 2 light rain patches in the morning and at night. Bright periods during the day tomorrow. Temperatures will range between 23 and 26 degrees. Now let's take a look at the weather around the world. That's our news tonight. I'm Jeremy Zhu. Thanks for watching. Good night.